Hello, everybody. Welcome along to round 43 for Championship score predictions. It is the Easter weekend. If you can keep up, try your best. Can you keep up with me, Sam Parkin? Because the overtake has happened. Well, it's happened in the weekly. I got the win in round 42, 10-7. Although I was getting pillaged in the comments on Burnley Norwich because you got that 2-1, and I was reminded of that many times. But I thought back with QPR 1, Bristol City 1, which I do think you wanted 1-1, didn't you,
Yeah, I
on that?
did,
And
yeah.
I forced your hand. And West Brom 2, Watford 1. So I'm 19-18 up on the weekly. But Sam, on the aggregate, we had a mistake in the graphic last week. You were 8 up rather than 5 up or something, which I said. But you're still 4 up. It's 3-15, 3-11. It's as tight as the relegation picture in the Championship, this.
Yeah, very exciting. Going into one of the best weekends, I think, of the season. I remember Les Ferdinand getting back-to-back hat-tricks over the Easter weekend. 3 at Goodison Park and then 3 against Nottingham Forest back at Loftus Road. So, yeah, some happy memories and a lot. I was going to say a lot will be decided. We'll have a much better idea, I think, about a lot of things in all the divisions, but especially the Championship come Tuesday. So, yeah, it's going to be a great few days.
And to Sam's point, we're sat here way before this has all happened. It could, in terms of automatic promotion, all be decided by Tuesday, but we will get into that. Get your predictions down there in the comments, copy and paste from the description down there. Give yourself 1 point correct outcome, home, away, or draw, 3 points correct scoreline. For a bonus point, stick 5 or more goals in your prediction, we'll give you 4 points. This is what a start, Sam. Derby versus Luton. That needs no introduction.
Yeah, well, it almost feels like one of Luton's last victories was that last-ditch win over Derby,
Right.
completely unwarranted at Kenilworth Road, and I thought it was the catalyst, or could have been the catalyst, and clearly hasn't been. Tight game. Luton still can't score. Derby are pretty clinical with the few chances they get. I'm going to go 1-0 the home side.
And you can guess by my expression that that is a scribble. So, yeah, I had Derby winning this one 1-0, which would be so decisive, wouldn't it? Shall I take the unhelpful draw or shall I? No, I do think Derby are going to win. So I'll shuffle it up to a 2-1 to Derby, and that is just hugely problematic. Not completely decisive, but that would be a near fatal blow to Luton. It's Blackburn versus Millwall. We said we'd discuss Millwall in terms of the playoff picture, didn't we? If they had a good week. Well, they scored 9 bloody points, didn't they? So I am probably going to hedge my bets here, Sam. I think they might get another 4 over Easter, but I'll start with a draw in this one. So I'll play a 1-1 with Rovers having finally got a win under Big Val at Luton. 1-1.
Yeah, lovely goal, wasn't it, to get the win at Kenilworth Road, albeit I didn't see too many other opportunities on the Luton goal. So I think Mill will go there in great mood, great confidence. I'm going to back Mill, especially last night, Coventry dropping points at Hull, just squeezing it up a little bit tighter. I'll go 2-1 the Lions.
Bristol City versus Sunderland, which, if things stayed the same, would be the first leg of the playoff semi-final at the start of May, Sam.
2-1 Bristol City. That feels like quite a regular outcome at Ashton Gate. And I think it's difficult.
Are you locking that in?
Yeah, locking it in.
Yeah.
I think it's difficult for Sunderland players, really difficult. Something I spoke to some people on a different podcast about this really peculiar period that they're in right now, knowing that they're in the playoffs, how to go about it. Unknown territory, I would imagine, for a lot of the lads and also the coach. So I'll go for Bristol City to win out again at home, where they've been really good.
Okay, I didn't do it on Derby. I'll take the unhelpful here then. I'll go for a 1-1. Again, I totally agree with you on Sunderland in they've just got to kind of keep it ticking over and set themselves for the tournament football. I think that might actually be a problem for Bristol City because I don't much like their fixtures after this. I think they go back-to-back away and then they're back home on round 46. So they could really do with the win. But what I will say about Bristol City and Coventry, they've got a cushion. So whatever happens in 43, Sam, Bristol City will be in the top 6 going into 44. But I'll play the draw on that one. 1-1. Mate, we have got some brilliant fixtures here. Coventry versus West Brom. That is 6th versus 7th. I don't quite know how to describe the Coventry Hull game. I thought a draw was probably a fair result. Neither side particularly blew the other away. I wonder if we might get the return of hapless West Brom and they'll allow Coventry to win this game, so to speak. So I will go. I'm going to go. West Brom will score, won't they? Do you know? I'm going to go 3-1 to Coventry, Sam, which would really lock up the top 6 going into 44.
Yeah, that's what I was going to have actually. I wasn't across this because I was at Bournemouth against Fulham last night, but I did read about Bobby Thomas and Ephron Mason-Clark being injured. Probably the former being the one that could affect them the most, given his potency. I think in the opposition's 18-yard box, everything's targeted towards him, so that could have an impact latterly in the season. Yeah, I'll stick with the Coventry win though, but I'll go by virtue of the solitary goal, 1-0.
Speaking of 9-point weeks, Sam, Plymouth Argyle got a 6-point week down at the bottom, so they are still potentially on for the great escape, but they've got to go to Middlesbrough. In the words of Kevin Keegan, they've got to go to Middlesbrough and get something.
Tricky again, I think, because you just feel like, Middlesbrough have got they've got the squad, they have got the attacking players, they've not been showing it, but get the job done against one of the lesser lights at home, but Argyle are scrapping for their lives. A little bit of a bump in the road. I'll go 1-0 Borough here as well. 1-0.
Yeah, I was going to back Borough. I mean, they've been amazing at home. We looked at that final 4 and it was, what was it? Norwich, Sheffield United, someone and Leeds. I can't think, Coventry and Leeds. And you're like, not going to win any of them. And they've already won 2 of them. But we know they don't do well at home, Argyle. So I don't mind your 1-0. So I'll go same margin of victory, Sam, and I'll go 2-1. Norwich versus Portsmouth. I'm a bit worried about Norwich being on the beach here. And when you've got a few star players who probably are going to be looking at moves away from the club maybe in the summer, you wonder about, how invested they will be. I'm not questioning anyone's professionalism, but it's only natural, isn't it? Josh Sargent didn't start at Burnley, and then go figure, when he was in the second half, they look far better. So I think I might go for an entertaining draw here, Sam. I think Pompey really need something, don't they? So I'm going to go Desmond. I'll go 2-2 Norwich Pompey.
Yeah, I like the draw here as well, mate. I just think, Norwich have got very little to play for, it would seem. Pompey buoyed by that late leveller against Derby, much needed. I think that was a good result for them, really, especially the circumstances. And I think a point does them well again here, given the gap. I'll go for 1-1.
Preston versus QPR on 50 and 49, those two. Both look safe to me.
Yeah, don't bother watching the Championship football on Friday. Save yourself for the Monday. Keep your powder dry. 0-0 I'm going to have here. 0-0.
Oh,
okay. Not very beachy, is it? But I think another draw that does his team both. So, maybe handbrakes on to a degree.
Yeah, I quite like your theory that, they'd both shake hands on a point beforehand, wouldn't they? It would, just slide them a little bit further up, and there's enough traffic and enough potential carnage beneath them, I think, for them both to be safe. We're looking at, give myself a 3-point spread, but 47 to 49, somewhere around that. Again, like you said at the top of the show, we'll know more on Tuesday. I will take, my third 1-1 in this show already. I need to calm that down, don't I? As we move on to Stoke versus Sheffield Wednesday. And speaking of beachy, Sheffield Wednesday are definitely that, aren't they? Stoke have got 8 points in 4, and they're quite tight. I'm gonna back them, and that would take them to 50 and safety. Surely, I will go 1-0, a Mark Robins special to Stoke.
Yeah, that's the safe money, isn't it? I can't go for another 1-0. I just keep saying it. So I will raise you and go 2-1, but I can't disagree with your thought process.
Swansea v Hull, Sam. 9-point week for Swansea, and they didn't concede a goal last week. Take about Alan Sheehan. Hull are still up to their necks in it, though. They are 3 points above the drop zone.
This is probably the fixture I've looked at on this page. I have no idea. This could be anything. But for the reasons that you just stated, you know how much I admire old Cabango and Darling at the heart of that defence, and they've resumed what was a great partnership early part of the season, doing well again, not conceding, and yeah, full credit to the manager. 2-0 Swans.
Oh, I might throw a grenade in here then and back the away win.
Don't mind it.
He's pulled a few out, hasn't he? He's one at Sunderland and one at Sheffield United, and I just think there might be a feeling around Swansea of, okay, job done, safe, chill out a little bit. I won't flip you completely, Sam, but I'll go 0-1. Swansea 0, Hull 1. Right, here they come. The beautiful ones, in the words of Suede, for you 90s proper Britpop indie fans. Here come the top three. Watford versus Burnley. I'm up first. I want some chaos. Could Watford hold Burnley? The only way they can do it, Sam, is 0-0, isn't it? And Watford keep a clean sheet against Burnley? I don't think they can score against them, can they? I fancy a bit of chaos in the title race. I think it would be 0-0 number 13. So I am going to play a 0-0 there, partly because of narrative, because that might just open us up a little bit for the head-to-head. 0-0.
I think this would be a third on the spin, would it not? I'm going to go for a 2-1 Burnley. I feel like it's on the spin, isn't it? 2-1 at Cov, 2-1 at home to Norwich.
They had a 0-0 versus Derby
in the middle. Yeah, all right. Well, there we go. That makes more sense then. 2-1 Burnley.
Okay, which would put the pressure on Sheffield United, who then at 5:30 face Cardiff.
Yeah, I mean, if there is to be, I think, some faltering this weekend, it would possibly come in that Watford-Burnley game, is what my gut's saying. I don't see Sheffield United dropping points against Cardiff at home. Yeah, maybe not the best performance, but getting the points. 2-0.
Yeah, surely they've got to bounce back, haven't they? And Cardiff are in a world of trouble down at the bottom. And I mean, it would just be unprecedented, wouldn't it? 0 point week and then more drop points.
Well, we're going to come on to it, but the gap now obviously means they have to win this game and they have to go into the shootout against Burnley and go for it, which is brilliant for everyone that's going to be watching on. But they have to win this game first and foremost in the lead up.
Okay, I will go for them to do so. Maybe they'll go out early, get a couple of goals up, then it'll go 2-1, then it'll go 3-1. So I'll go for it. Yeah, I like your theory that Sheffield United will get a little bit looser. Not as loose as they were at the end of that Plymouth game, but you know what I'm saying. Right. Oxford versus Leeds. Now, I actually think this is the game that Leeds would be most likely to... There's just something tells me 8 p.m. after everybody's played, some long throws, Gary Rowett, low block, defensive, that Oxford could potentially sneak a draw in this. But maybe we're going to get a late winner for Leeds. I'll go 2-1 to Leeds with a late winner. Oxford 1, Leeds 2.
Yeah, I mean, the enormity of this game can't be understated because Oxford obviously play Cardiff next time out. That we'll discuss later. Yeah, I'm going to go for a real rally from Oxford, but maybe just edged up by the odd goal, which will be awful in terms of the pressure that could still build. I'll go for 2-1 Leeds.
No, I have taken your 2-1, Sam. You're going to have to tweak that, mate.
I will go 3-1 Leeds.
There we go. Let us know your picks in the comments. As usual, give yourself a point for correct outcome, 3 for a correct scoreline, and 4 for bonus points. Now, Sam and I are not indulging the beach. Neither of us have gone for a single bonus point on this round. We're being very, very conservative. Get down there in the comments. We are not going to do a championship check-in podcast this week because we are about to film the second load of predictions. So you will hear from Sam on the entirety of the Easter weekend probably next Tuesday after all the dust has settled, and he may be talking about a confirmed promotion for somebody, or one of, could be more than one team. You never know. Get down there in the comments, and we are, spoiler alert, about to record round 44 in that juicy head-to-head. You can join us for that on Sunday.